We've just done our very first hike here in Patagonia. Day one, climbed up a volcano. This is Volcano Chaitan. It erupted last time in 2008 and destroyed like the whole town. It's so pretty epic. And look at this view. Jesus.
We can see ocean too.
First hike in a very long time and our legs are like jelly. I want to show you something that's very funny actually. I always get blisters always when I hike. I was very worried about having something happen like this when we're down here and we're going to be doing a lot of hiking. So I bought these special socks. They are 2-part socks. So they got an over,
basically this
under, and they got little individual toed socks. So essentially, instead of your feet rubbing against the boot, your socks do the rubbing and then you don't end up with blisters.
That's the theory behind it. So this 2.5 hours hike was like great testing for our gear.
I think we're going to be sore tomorrow, but
yeah,
got to ease back into it, you know?
Yeah.
Can't go run a marathon first day back in. So yesterday's trip up that volcano was the Chaitan volcano. We're in the city of Chaitan now, and this whole city was decimated by the volcanic eruption where a massive mudslide caused basically the whole town to be destroyed. I think there was about 4,000 people originally here. Now there's only about 800. We're walking through like an old military base now. There's a lot of infrastructure that's just been left behind. It's kind of like a little bit of a ghost town, but it's right at the foot of all these amazing mountains and it's so crazy. We're just on a pretty short walk now to really cool waterfall. Hey Ben, just sing a song.
I'm a monkey for your YouTube. Všichni do lesem, trávou mechem řesem, les je plný patvarů, skřítek spadnul na hlavu. Tuhle písničku neznáš, protože je v češtině.
That is an impressive waterfall. You good? Can you bottle it, sell it in supermarkets?
Yeah.
So I'd like to show you how we're actually doing our washing while on the road. There's like 0 laundry places. So we got a dry bag, fill it up with warm water. All we do is just pour it in with soap and hot water, and then we roll it up, and then we just give it a good shake for a while. Maybe roll it around, and then rinse it out and hang it up. While the washing dries, we're going to go on an hike to a glacier. So today's mission is a 22-kilometer hike to that glacier, and that is a volcano with a massive glacier down the side of it. So we're going to walk all the way up the river to the end of the glacier. I think it's going to be pretty epic. I mean, you look around here, it's like European beauty with the mountains, but there's just no one here. It's just so cool. Last 100 meters. Wow. This is a magnificent sight. We're sitting here watching this glacier while we have lunch. I mean, it's like, I don't know how many thousands of years old, and it's carved this massive valley out. You can see where it used to be, and it's how it's retreated. But it's such a nice sight to see still while they're still around. We have gotten to this amazing campsite which is right on the lake. There's just like mountains and glaciers, and we're only just on the other side of this tree line. It's so crazy, and it's really unusual because we thought the water was going to be so cold and the air temperature was going to be much colder, but it's super warm. It's like 6:30 at night. We're just walking around with just no shirts. The water wasn't that cold. We basically had a little bath. Very well surprised. So we are now doing one of our most favorite things we ever do when we're camping. It is making stick bread, which is a very basic dough wrapped around a stick on top of a fire. And it is so good. We're having a Chilean style with dulce leche, and I don't think we could really find a better place to do it.
It's really beautiful here. Okay, cut me off, please. Black fingers are really important secret ingredient for the best taste.
This 20-minute trip on this road is actually like an hour and a half when you're going
Look at it,
less than 5 kilometers an hour because there's so many potholes.
Yeah, this is also driving in Patagonia.
The guys in the trucks in the cars, they just flog their cars out, just go full speed over them.
Oh, check this.
If we go full speed over them, this whole thing is going to fall apart.
Whoa.
So we have just arrived at a campsite for tonight, right by the river, right by the Andes. Oh my god. I went and bought something today. Some very essential travel item for me. A fishing rod. I've just done my hand at some spin trout fishing. Lasted about 10 minutes, got my lure snagged, but I'm not going to give up. I will be catching trouts. I guarantee it. I don't guarantee it, but I'm going to try. We had a pretty spectacular day today. We just drove all the way through these amazing mountains, helped a fellow traveler who had broken down, restarted his old combi. Tomorrow we're going to head further down south to this big town and then just keep traveling this amazing country. What's for dinner, Vendi? Not trout.
Not falafel it is then. Falafel and tzatziki. And I think with some vegetable in tortilla. It's gonna be really yummy. Excuse me. Excuse us.
So it is probably one of the very first very rainy days here. It hasn't really stopped raining all morning. And with rains, you always find if you have leaks in the van. So we've just found one back here where I had to take the rear window out because it was so rusty. I think the seal here needed some silicone. I didn't put any on here and it drips right onto Vendi's head when we sleep. So fortunately, I did anticipate that. So I did bring some sealant with us and I will fix that up when it starts to dry out. It shouldn't be a major, but so far that is the only leak we've got. And I think that's pretty good actually. That's an achievement. I'd really hate if it was leaking through the ceiling somewhere where we couldn't really get to. That would be very problematic. This one, very manageable.
At the moment we're in Notaria in the city I can't pronounce, Coyahuque, something like that. And we're getting our last document we need for crossing the border to Argentina. Basically we need 3 documents. First is ownership of the vehicle, which we finally have, then passport, and the third one is a Declaración Jurada. That's basically a document where we promise that we'll return our Chilean vehicle back to Chile and we'll sell it there. This document is basically stopping tourists from selling the vehicle in other countries.
I think this document just basically says we promise to bring back the vehicle, but we've heard of people not doing that and you just get a very small fine when you bring it back. So I don't even think it's that necessary because we've heard some borders don't actually require it. It's only some, but we're getting it just in case so we don't have to come back to a town that has one of these notorious. So in true Chilean style, that did not go to plan. Every single time we've tried to do anything with the legal framework in this country, something's gone wrong. We didn't have a specific paper we needed to get the document, and we couldn't get it there, it wasn't working, so we've come back to the van, gotten the document online. They've closed for lunch now, so we have to wait another hour. Then we're going to go back and get the document and then legally be allowed to leave the country with the van. So, we have it now. We can legally cross the borders. But as planned...
Let's see about that.
Let's see how it goes first, yeah. Wow, so that turned really quickly. After leaving that town yesterday where we got the paperwork, we slept only about half an hour down the road, and it was a horrible sleep. It was windy, it was cold. This morning we woke up and there is a fresh dusting of snow on all the mountains around us, and it has really just dropped the temperature like crazy. We're sitting here in all our clothes, our beanies, hot water bottles on our lap, trying to have breakfast. It is so windy outside. The van is just shaking. This is the typical Patagonian winds we've heard about. This place is actually crazy. It's like the coolest canyon. And it just started snowing. This is February. And it's snowing. What is going on? Crazy!
So we've been driving on this very shitty gravel road for last half an hour, and because we'll be driving on it for next 1.5 days, Marcel decided we'll deflate tires.
Yeah, I think it's going to make it a little easier on our bodies. Because at the moment it's like driving on something really rough. So this is kind of like, you let the tires down, it gives you like more of a cushion of air. Tires act like another suspension. So they were at 35. I'll put them down to 25. So letting the tires down has made a massive difference. We were getting like 30 kilometers an hour max before it felt like the van was going to fall apart. And now I'm going 55, much smoother. So we knew something would take a heavy toll on that dirt road we just took. It's our solar shower. So it was full and the bracket has snapped. These are aluminium brackets and it's just completely snapped off. So I think the best thing what we do is just drain it and then it will support itself, but we need to make a new bracket because that's stuffed. Who is this dirty girl? No, I'm not talking about Vendi. Too bad the roads is horrible to drive on, but if it was easy, everyone would do it.
I just went to the kitchen to make lunch and I'm like, there's actually a layer of dust everywhere. So check this out. This is next to the main door.
It's going to be fun for the next wee while.
Wow, that's crazy.
I hope our bed is not getting so dusty, but I have a feeling it is.
Oh, yuck. That's pretty bizarre.
What's for lunch today?
Just small humble Vanlife dish, nachos. With fucking views.
And why are we cooking all our food?
Because we're gonna actually cross to Argentina and we recently found out you can't take any fresh produce. Can't take any fresh produce.
So that was after we did a massive shop at the supermarket, thinking we weren't going to see a supermarket for a while. Now we're just feasting on like all our expensive food, meats and our dairies and everything that we can't take over the border. It's been a couple of days since we've had another proper shower or bathing. We do wash ourselves every night with some kind of wet cloth or something, but it's really nice every now and then to have a shower or a bath or a full dunk in water. And all this dust over the last couple of days has been giving us like just feeling like you're just living in a dust bowl. So we've just come and found what looks like to be a really cool swimming hole / waterfall. We haven't seen it yet and we have no idea how cold it's going to be, but it's going to be a nice refreshing ice bath, I think. Okay, that is above my expectations. We're going to go for a swim. I think it's going to be absolutely freezing cold, but we need a shower because we don't smell so good. Especially this one.
I smell good.
She smells
So
the worst.
fresh.
very cold. I'm thinking like 2-3 degrees straight off the glacier. So that pool that we thought that was it, that we just swam at, that wasn't it. That was the halfway pool. This is the actual pool and it is 50 times better. We've just arrived to the campsite for tonight after driving on all that dusty road. We're going to be heading into Argentina tomorrow. We still got another about 80 or 90 kilometers on that dirt road until we hit the border. We are cooking up a nice little feast with all our vegetables that we have left, and we've got a fire going. The river is just there, and that's good because we are running out of water, and pretty much there's unlimited sources of drinking water everywhere around here. You just go to a nice clean stream or river, it just comes straight off glaciers, so I don't think you can get any real cleaner or fresher than that. So we'll see you tomorrow. We're a little nervous about our border crossing. It's the first time we're crossing a border with the van. I hope we've got all the paperwork sorted. We still need to get insurance actually for Argentina. It's also a new country for us. We've never been to Argentina, so we're pretty excited about that. So we'll see you tomorrow. Today is border crossing day, and fair to say we're a little bit nervous because it's our very first border crossing and we're not exactly sure if we have all the paperwork. We think we do, but you never really know until you get there. We hear that every border is different. The officers might require something different that we don't have. We're on our way to Chile Chico now, which is the border town in Chile. It's another 2.5 hours driving on this dirt road, and we're going to be so glad when we get off.
Driving for 1.5 hours. We're absolutely boiling in the car. It's so hot. Can't open the windows because it's so dusty, like so dusty. We can actually feel how we breathe in all the dust. The gravel road is getting just worse. We're a little bit over it. It's really not comfortable driving.
So over this road. So hot, it's so dusty. Only ventilation is our fan. It basically just blows the dusty air back in our faces.
Yeah. Oh my god, we see a pavement road after 3 days of driving on gravel. Oh, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
So the last thing we need before we cross to Argentina is the insurance for the van on Argentinian roads. We've just been told we can rock up to just a random suburban house. We're going to pay him 17,000 Chilean pesos, and in 5 minutes we should have the insurance. So we've got the last piece of the puzzle. Now we can go across the border and hopefully everything goes smoothly.
Should I put this in the bin?
Not yet, because it's Argentinian side. So we've just arrived now to our first customs checkpoint. So we're leaving Chile, and then we got to drive another couple of kilometers and enter Argentina. I think this should be the easier side because we're leaving, entering another countries where they're probably a little bit more stringent on trying to find things. Okay, so that went pretty smooth. We have our clearance and stamp out of Chile. Now we have to drive to the Argentinian side. So that went really smoothly actually. We haven't driven through the border yet, but we've got our passport stamped. They've done the checks on the vehicle. And we're about to drive through. So we're not sure if they're going to be searching the car or anything for any fruit and vegetables. Let's find out, eh?
He doesn't look fine. Hola.
¿Llevan fruta, verdura?
Yeah. Can't take any fresh produce.
So I don't know what's happening. Wendy's outside talking to the officer and they're using Google Translate, but we basically surrendered a whole bunch of fruit and veg that we didn't really want anyway, that we just left in the fridge. Let's see what he says. So we did leave fruit and vegetables in the fridge and he's taken them off us, which is fine, we didn't need them, but now we have to fill out the form that the fruit and vegetables have been confiscated. So we don't know if we're getting a fine or not.
Do you have any fruit and vegetable? And we're like, yeah, we have some. So I went to the back in the van and opened the fridge and showed him like I had like this massive piece of pumpkin. He's like, oh no. And then we had some really smooshed avocados and like just few tomatoes, stuff like that. And he was like, oh, like not good, like I'll have to take it. I'm like, that's okay, that's okay. He was like, I'll need passport of the owner of the vehicle and write down declaration that we confiscated all your vegetables and fruit.
We were planning on just putting the stuff in the fridge, letting him take it and be like, yeah, this is all we got, you can take it, let's go. We didn't realize that you had to put all that stuff probably in the bin before you got to the border and then go through and show that you've got nothing. But we're in Argentina now, let's go.
We made it to Argentina, so we have to celebrate it.
Cheers.
Cheers!
Follow us next time for when we get stuck in a blizzard, see some unusual sights, and explore the natural wonders of this amazing continent. If you want to see what we're up to on a daily basis, remember to follow us on Instagram, salty_vanventures. See you there.